Hello everyone, welcome back to another session of crocheting with Nashym. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like and share. For the materials today, we are going to use this tape measure, a pair of scissors, a turning needle to join the parts of the sweater, and then a 3.7 millimeters hook, but you can use a 4 millimeters if you want it to be super light. And then I'm also using this yarn. It's called Siga. I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation. And I'm going to be joining 2 strands to have a medium weight. And to begin with, we are going to make this sweater in parts. So we are going to first work on the back panel. Then we shall also do 2 front panels, then the arms, and join them together. So we're going to begin by working on the back panel. So this is a child size, specifically made for a 2 years old, and I want this to measure around 14-15 inches. So we are going to first work on the back panel. So you're going to begin with a chain, and to do that, first make a slip knot. This is how I make mine. There are various ways of making a slip knot. Okay. So then yarn over and pull through to make your first chain. Then you're going to make 49 chains. So I already have 1. So this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go ahead and make your 49 chains. I'll meet you when you're done. So I'm done with my 49 chains, and let's go ahead and measure this. So this measures 13 without stretching it. I'm not stretching that because once I stretch, it is going to up to 14 inches. Okay, but don't stretch your chain because the kind of pattern that we are using usually it compacts the work, so it tends the measurement tends to become a bit smaller. So don't stretch your chain. And also remember, we said we want the sweater to be 15 inches long. So since this is 13, that means we are leaving 2 inches to complete this lower side of the arms. And touch your hook again. So these are 49 inches. We are going to add one more chain. Then work in the next stitch. And now we're going to skip this chain, one chain that you have added, and work in the next chain with a single crochet. So go into the next chain, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all the 2 loops to make a single crochet, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So we are going to repeat this in all of the chains. We are working a row of single crochets. So repeat that until the end of the row. I'll meet you up once you're done. So I'm here at the end of the row. I'm going to work in that last chain with a single crochet. Sorry. Then chain 1 and turn your work. So in the second row, you're going to turn your row a bit, like so. In row 2, you're going to flip your work a bit, just a little bit, and work in the back loop. Okay, so we have 2 loops here in the row. We want to work in this back one with a single crochet. So instead of working in the middle here of the 2 loops, we want to work in the back loop only with a single crochet. Okay, so you realize that when you work in the back loop, you're going to create ridges. I think it's called ribbing. So you're going to keep doing this until the end of the row. Repeat this pattern for all the stitches, and I'll go ahead and do mine. We'll meet up when I'm done. Also do yours. We are here at the end of the row. Make sure you get this last stitch. Make a single crochet right there. Chain 1 and turn your work. So when you turn your work still, you're going to work in the back loop with a single crochet. We are repeating row 2. So in the back loop, keep making single crochets. This is the pattern that we are repeating until we get the desired length of our back panel. Okay, you can see the ridges are beginning to form. So as your work grows, it shows more, even better. You're going to repeat this pattern until you have 14 inches wide. Okay, so I'm going to come back when I'm done with my rows. You can work yours as well. We'll meet up. I have completed my rows, worked for 14 inches, and this is what I have. So let me try to measure this. Remember, you do not stretch out your work. Yeah, this is 14 inches. And I've worked 60 rows. Yeah, 60 rows to make it to 14 inches. Now, I'm going to take this away. So we can say that we are done with the back panel. This is the back panel. And now we're going to put this away and work on the front panel. So to work on the front panel, we are going to make a chain of 49. So the front panel measures the same length as the back panel. Okay, so for the back panel, we did 49 chains to measure 13 inches. We are doing the same thing for the front panel, except that for the front panel, it shall have 2 parts because we want the sweater to have buttons. Yeah, it is going to be open on the front. So instead, okay, let us first work our chains. So you're going to make a slip knot and make a chain of 49. So once you're done with the 49 inches, add 1 more chain and skip 1 chain, go in the next with a single crochet in the rest of the chain spaces. Once you're at the end, going to chain up 1 and turn your work. Go into the back loop and work a single crochet into the next space. Make a single crochet in the back loop of the next stitch. Work a single crochet. Sorry. So we are repeating the same pattern as it was for the back panel. So you keep working in the back loop only with a single crochet until the end of the row. At the end of the row, you chain up 1 and turn. Again, you work in the back loop. So you're going to go ahead and make your rows. we are going to work rows that measure up to 6 inches. Remember, we said the front panel is going to have 2 sides. So one side should measure 6 and another one 6. The back panel was measuring 14 inches. It measures 14 inches of width. So we are dividing that into 2. But then, so when you divide that into it is supposed to be 7, but we are not going to work all the 7 inches because we want to leave a part, or we want to leave some inches, 1 inch for the part where we're going to attach the buttons. Okay, there's a design that we're supposed to put in there, so that's why we are not really doing 7 inches. Okay, I hope I'm not confusing you. So do your rows that measure up to 6 inches. I'm going to do mine. I'll come back once I'm done with the 2 parts of the front panel. Okay, here I am with my 2 panels. I'm done working them. Okay, they are of the same measurements. Make sure that they measure the same. The length and the width should be of the same measurements. So I'm going to take out my tape measure and measure these just to be sure. Okay, so this is 6 inches. Yeah, the remaining measurements is going to be for the other part, as we said. Okay, so this also measures 6 inches. Okay, so we are done with the 2 panels, that is for the back and for the front. Now you're going to take this away and work on the arms. So I already did one part of the arm off camera, and this is it. Okay, for the arm I want it to be 10 inches long, but remember we said we deduct some 2 inches for the other part, the design of the arm, of the rest of the arm. And this is 8 inches. We can say 8.5 somehow, because if you stretch it a bit it's going to be 8.5. and the width is so let's dive into it. We are going to make a slip knot. And make a chain of 34. So unlike our back and front panel, here we are going to do 34 inches. Remember, for the back and front panel we did 49. So for the arm we are doing 34 inches because it's meant to be shorter. So you're going to go ahead and make a chain of 34. Once you're done with the 34 inches, chain one more. skip one chain, and in the next chain space make a single crochet in the next chain. Work a row of single crochets until the end. By now this should be easy for you because we have already done it 3 times for the back panel and for the front panel. So go ahead and complete your row of single crochets. We'll meet up once you're done. So when you reach the end of the row, you're going to chain 1, turn your work, go into the back loop and work a single crochet. The next stitch in the back loop of the next stitch, make a single crochet in the back loop only for the rest of the row. We are repeating the pattern for the rest of the rows until we have let me check with the other side, the other part that I did. So this is 9 inches. Yeah, we are going to work rows of 9 inches and the 40 rows. Yeah, so you're going to work 40 rows for the arm width. So now that we are done making all our parts, back panel and the front panel and the arms, we are going to do the wrist ribbing around here to make the cuffs for the arms that go around here. So I want to attach the yarn on this yarn that I was working with previously, so that I don't have a lot of yarn hanging around. So we are going to first reduce this because the rest of the part for the arm is meant to be free, and we want the cuffs to be tight, not so tight, but we wouldn't want them to go all the way around the palm. So we are going to reduce, and to do that, chain 1 here at the beginning, then go. So we are working on top of the ribs. So this is row 1 and 2, 3 and 4. We are going to be working on top of each row. Okay, so for the beginning we are going to work a single crochet in this first row on top of the first row and another one on top of the second row. So let me go ahead and show you how to do that. after chaining one, go on top of the first row. Actually, you want to begin with an increase. So go into the top, pull up a loop, and then go on top of the second row and again pull up a loop. So yarn over and pull through all the 3 loops. So by doing that, you're creating a decrease. So we are going to go into the next space of the top of the row with a single crochet, another single crochet in the next space, then on top of this another row, we're going to create a decrease. So pull up a loop, go onto the next space, pull up a loop, and over and pull through the 3. So that means we have started with a decrease by single crocheting 2 together, then 1 single crochet on 1 row, another single crochet into another row, then single crochet 2 together, two rows together to create a decrease. And this is the pattern that we are going to repeat. So this is a decrease. So we are going to work 2 single crochets that are not decreased, 1 single crochet, another single crochet, and 2 single crochet together. One single crochet, one single crochet, and then 2 single crochet together. So go ahead and repeat that until you're done working in all rows. So once you're here in the last row, you're going to turn your work. Turn your work and make a chain of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Add 1 more chain, then turn your work. So skip 1 chain, the one that you added. Then in the 7th row, or the first row, since we are turning the work, so skip 1 chain, and in the next row make a slip stitch. So go into the next space and work a slip stitch. Okay, we're going to that space, pull up a loop, and again pull up a loop through the 1 loop that you have on the hook. So we are working slip stitches only. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So every time you work around here, make sure that there are 7 stitches. So after this, we are going to work a slip stitch in the single crochets that we did previously. So go into the first this first single crochet with a slip stitch. So make sure that you don't go back into this row. You have already worked in it with this row of chain 1 and then slip stitches. So don't work in this. Go into this next one with a slip stitch, then into this next single crochet space, make another slip stitch. So it is 2 slip stitches on top of the single crochets. So turn your work after turning your work, you're going to skip 2 slip stitches. Okay, so skip 2 and go into the third again with a slip stitch. So going to the next stitch with a slip stitch. We are working rows of slip stitches only. Chain 1 and turn. In the first in the first stitch, work a slip stitch. So go ahead and slip stitch all around until the end. So if you're not sure, actually it's not about even being sure. Sometimes you have to come back and count to make sure that you're not messing up the number of stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So when you reach this end, you're going to go into the next single crochet space and make a slip stitch. Go into another space with a slip stitch and turn your work. Keep 2 slip stitches and work in the next with a slip stitch. Chain 1. When you reach the end, you chain 1 and turn your work. So in the first stitch, you're going to make a slip stitch. Go into the next one with a slip stitch until the row is done. So this is what we are going to repeat until we are done, until the end of the arm. So this is how it should look like. We're using slip stitches here because we cannot use single crochets since it's what we have used for the arm area. Okay, so if we do single crochets here still, it will make no difference. And yet we want to have a different design right there. So the cuffs are made of slip stitches, and then the arm is made of ribbed single crochets. These are ribbed slip stitches. So go ahead and work your rows until you reach the end. So I have finished my rows, and this is how the cuffs look like. A beautiful effect created right here. So you can go ahead and fold it. You can tell that this is different from the rest of the arm. Okay. But then you want to make sure that before you decrease here, remember before we did the cuffs, we made a decrease. Make sure that the arm is big, like you did a large measurement, because if you did arms that are tight, then you'll have no need of decreasing the cuffs to make the cuffs. But then if you find that you did big arms, then that is when you have to decrease around the wrist area. Okay, so now we are going to work we're going to work on the back panel. We are done working on the cuffs for the arms. Now we want to work on that for the back panel and the front panels. If you want, just you may not join the two ends like I'm doing. You could just simply attach your new yarn here. Okay, so to work on this back panel, we are not going to decrease like we did for the arms. Okay, we're not going to decrease because it doesn't need to be tight like the arms. So you're simply going to chain up 7. 1, 2, 3, and 7. So once you have 7, chain 1 more and turn your work. So you skip 1 chain, and in the next chain space make a slip stitch. Go into the next chain, make a slip stitch. Going to slip stitch until you're done working around all the chains. I'll go back and count to be sure that I'm doing the right number. So those are 7, And just like we did for the arms, we are going to go we're going to go on top of the row of the next row. We have already worked in the first one. So on top of the next row, we are going to make slip stitch, going to the next and work a slip stitch. So we work 2 slip stitches on top of 2 rows. Then turn your work. You don't chain or anything, then just turn your work. Skip to slip stitch spaces and work in the next with a slip stitch. And you need to make sure that your slip stitches are not too tight, because if you make them too tight, you'll find a hard time working in them. It will be hard for the hook to go through. So they shouldn't be too so tight, and again, not so big. So slip stitch until the end of the row. When you reach the end of the row, chain 1 and turn. So in the first space, make a slip stitch in the next, until the end. So for the end of this row, we chain 1, and yet for this side we do not chain. The 2 slip stitches on top of the rows work as our edge, or as our chain 1, like we did this side. So I'm done here with the 7 slip stitches. I'll go on top of this row with a slip stitch, then go into the next with another slip stitch, and my work, skip 2 spaces, or skip 2 stitches, and work in the next stitch with a slip stitch until the end of the row. And once you're at the end of the row, you'll chain 1 and turn your work. Repeat the pattern until you have worked all around your sweater. Actually, until you have worked all these rows up to here. And we are doing the same thing. We are doing the same thing for the front panels. For these 2, we are going to work around them the same way we have done. We are doing with the back panel. So we are not going to reduce anything on the front panels as well. So you'll do the same pattern, and then we'll meet up once you're done with that to show you how to join and work on the finishing. Now that we are done with all our parts, we're almost finishing off our sweater. So now we want to work around the ribbing for the front here. We want to put a ribbing for the buttons so that it can close up. So I'm going to show you how to work around with the ribbing of this area. So let me put this away. So for the ribbing, I want it to measure 2 inches. So go ahead and make a slip knot. And then chain 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. When you're done with the 8, add 1 more chain. Then turn your chain and work and skip 1 chain. In the next chain space, make a single crochet. Continue and make single crochets in all of the chain spaces. So you're going to work single crochets in every chain space. And oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, I changed my hook size from 3.7 to a 3.5 millimeters hook. So for the front ribbing, I'm using a smaller size. So we're going to go ahead and work your single crochets in each of the chain space. Once you're at the end, chain 1 and turn your work. So in the back loop only, work a single crochet in the next back loop space. Repeat this for the entire row. When you reach the end, chain 1 and turn. So again, in the back loop only, make a single crochet. I'm going to repeat this pattern for about 5 rows. And when I'm done with the 5 rows, I want to create space for the button holes. I want to create button holes where the buttons will go through. So go ahead and work your chains. I'll meet you up to show you how to create button holes. Right here, I'm done with my 6 rows. I did 6. I'm going to turn my work, and at the beginning of the 7th row is where I'm going to create the hole or the space. And to do that, I've already chained 1, so I'm going to turn and chain 2 more, because we want to skip 2 stitches. So that's why we are chaining 2 more. The first chain before we turned our work is for the edge, so it doesn't count as a stitch. So after that, we are going to skip 2 stitches, 1, 2. In the third, work a single crochet in the next space, until the end of the row. Chain 1. So you can see the space is created right here, and so I'm going to use medium-sized buttons, not small ones, and not very big. So that's why I'm leaving a 2 chain space. I mean a 2 stitches space. If you plan on using big buttons, then you can leave 3. You can chain 3 here. And you skip 3 stitches. So this is what we are going to repeat. So in the next row, you're simply going to repeat the pattern below here. Rows of single crochet in the back loop only for 6 rounds. So when you're done with the 6 rounds, again in the 7th round, you create a button hole. I hope that is clear. And you're going to create the desired number of holes depending on the buttons that you want to put on your sweater. So for me, I'm going to be doing 3. So I'll create only 3 spaces, and after that there is no need of creating more button spaces or button holes. Well, I've completed my ribbing for the front, and I did 1, 2, 3. Oh guys, I did 3. No, therefore 1. This is 1, 1, 2, 3, and 4, like I said before. So I created 4 buttonhole spaces, and then the rest of this part has no buttonhole spaces because buttons are going to be only on one side. Okay, so after this, you just go ahead and make a ribbing that is as long as the measurement of your sweater, because it's going all the way down. Now that we're done with this, we are going to join. We're going to be joining our sweater. Right now, we are going to create balls to attach on top of the sweater so that we give it a beautiful look. And so to do that, I'm using a 2.5 millimeters hook and a small weight yarn. So this is a single strand. For the body part of the sweater, I used 2 strands to create a medium weight yarn. So this is a small or a lightweight yarn. This lightweight yarn. You're also going to need fiber. I usually call it fiber. I think it's called fiber. To insert inside of the ball, and stitch markers. This is what I'm using for now to insert the fiber inside of the ball. So let's dive into it. You're going to create a magic ring. This is how I make mine. chain one, then in the middle of the circle here I'm going to single crochet 6 times. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So once you're done with the 6 single crochets, pull this thread so that you close up the ring. So on top of the first single crochet, you're going to create another single crochet. On top of the single crochet, the first single crochet, make another single crochet. So that counts as the beginning of our row. Grab your stitch marker and insert it in the first single crochet. In that same space where you've made a single crochet, make another single crochet. So we are increasing. In the next single crochet space, create 2 single crochets. Go into the next single crochet space, create 2 single crochets. In the next stitch space, make 2 single crochets. We are repeating this until we get to the point where we put the stitch marker. So in every space, make 2 single crochets. We are here. Going to take out your stitch marker, go into that space where the stitch marker was and put a single crochet. Grab your stitch marker and attach it in the single crochet stitch that you have just made. So in that same space, create another single crochet. Go into the next stitch and put 2 single crochets. So again, in this second row, we are increasing by making 2 single crochets in every stitch. Now at this point, we are going to decrease. I've only increased for 2 rows. So here we are going to create a decrease. And to do that, you're going to single crochet 2 together. Right here where we had the stitch marker, we're going to set the hook, pull up a loop, go into the next stitch and pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through all the 3 loops. Insert your stitch marker on the decrease that you have just created. In the next chain space, in the next stitch, pull up a loop, go into the next, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull up and pull through all the 3. So here at the end, I'm going to take out the stitch marker and create another row of decrease. So we are repeating the same thing as before. Insert your hook, pull up a loop, go into the next. You're going to the next single crochet space and pull up a loop, pull through over two. Insert your stitch marker. Mark the beginning of the row since we are working in continuous rows. Pull up a loop, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all the three. Do this until you come to the stitch where you've inserted the stitch marker. We are here at the end. You're going to take out the stitch marker chain one, just to make your yarn to tighten up your yarn so that it doesn't fall out. So at this point we are going to fill up the ball. So you take a minimum amount that can fill up the entire ball and don't leave it make sure it's filled to the top. I'm going to grab this hook of a big size. It's the one that I'm going to use. I insert this fiber inside. You have a different object that you can use, then you're good to go. You can go ahead and use that. So when you finish inserting this and you realize that maybe you have more space that is not filled up, just grab more and add. I'm done with mine. I'm going to undo the one chain that I did here. Trying to insert my hook, and then we're going to continue decreasing the ball so that we close up this space. Hope you can see clearly. So unlike the two single crochet together that I was using to decrease, this time around I'm going to go into this stitch and then also push the hook to go into the second one. So I'm having two stitches on the hook, this and this. So I'm going to go through the first one and then continue, push the hook to the second one, pull the yarn and go into that first the loop that I had on the hook. Maybe I can repeat this. So going to the first stitch, to the second one, pull up a loop, again pull through the one loop that you had on the hook, going to the second one, push your hook through 2 stitches and pull up a loop. It should be simple as long as you can see your stitches. And now my ball is closed off, maybe having some spaces here. I'm trying to work on that so that the fiber is not seen from the inside. It's still playing tricks on me. So once you're done, you're going to chain up 1 and cut your yarn. Make sure you leave enough yarn that you can use in the needle, because we want to attach this onto the sweater. So make sure you leave enough thread that you can use inside of the needle. So cut your yarn. You're going to make 15 balls of these. It depends on how you want to spread them onto the sweater, but for me, I'm going to make 14 or 15 because I want for the arms, the front of the sweater, and then the back. So go ahead and make your balls the same way we have done this. So right now we are going to join these 2 sides. Both sides are identical, so you can join from whichever side that you want. So grab your darning needle and then you're going to insert the yarn inside of it. I like to double it so that I have a thick yarn that is not going to come out. So to join this, we're going to begin from the bottom of the sweater going upwards, and we'd like to first measure. We'd like to first take measurements for the armhole length, and then we're going to mark that part. Then we begin joining. So we would like to first take measurements for the arm. We should consider also the armhole. You should take measurements of that so that this will be able to sit on the hole here. So when I take out measurements for this, it's giving me this is 4.5. I won't consider this because I stretched it just a little bit. So this is 4.5 inches. Usually I do 4 inches for a 2-year-old size, 4 inches for the armhole length. So 4.5 is good, is enough for me. So I'm going to go ahead and also take measurement for this part. You want to measure still 4.5. So this is 4.5. So at this point, grab your stitch markers and mark this point. So you're going to attach it right here. And then on top here, we're also going to attach a second stitch marker. So we are going to do the same thing for this side. But again, you might find if you find this a little bit disturbing, you can take your measurements of 4.5 inches, then count the number of stitches on both sides, both on the front and the back, so that you have the same number of stitches. Then you attach your stitch markers there. So going to grab your needle, and in the first stitch here, or from both sides, we are going to pass it through. So you're going to join from every stitch that we have on this sweater. So that was the first one. So you'd like to go into the second one from both sides and pass through, join with your needle. Until the other side where we attached the stitch markers. Make sure that it is tight enough. Not so tight and not loose. Here I'm done joining the two sides and the arms as well. So it's the same technique that I used for the sides. I didn't shoot for how I joined the arms by the same thing. The same thing as we did here. I simply attach the arms there and join them using a darning needle, or by the way, if you wish, you can use a hook and work around them with single crochets. So right now we're going to attach this. So you'll have to decide which side you want your buttons to be. So if the button holes are on the left, that means the buttons are going to be on the right. Then you'll have to close it from the left side. And right now, remember, the sweater is turned inside out, or it is on the wrong side. Okay, so I'm going to be putting the buttonholes on the left, and then that means when I turn it on the right side, it's going to be on the right. So grab your darning needle and attach the thread. So you want to make sure that the buttonholes are on this side. So you're going to go in the very first stitch, this one, and also on the other side, go into the first stitch, and then into the next, in the next loops of both sides. So you're going to go ahead and work this until you're done, until you get to this point down below. When you get to the neck, just work on a continuous row. You don't need to do anything, just continuous until you're done attaching the ribbing. And now we are done. We're going to turn this side and have the right side out. Yeah, and this is what we have so far. I'm already in love with this. I want to put my balls, I'm going to distribute them on both sides. I need them around the arms as well, and then onto the back. So I'm going to grab them and show you how I put them. So I wanted to have 3 on both sides. I mean, on each side. I really hope it works. I'm just going to distribute them anyhow. I'm not following any format. I'll just put them so. There. I think 3 are enough. I don't need to put much. So onto those areas, I'll use stitch markers to mark those points. So I'm going to put the first one right here. And here. And there. I'm going to do the same for this side. And we are going to do the same thing for the arms. I'm also putting 3. So that means this side we're going to put 3 and in the back 3 as well. I don't know, maybe it's a little too much. Maybe you could go with 2. You can go ahead and put as many as you want. For me, I think I'll be doing 3. So to attach these, you're going to insert the yarn inside the needle. And then I'll take out this stitch marker and attach my ball. There you go, inside here, and make sure you place it in the tightest way so that it doesn't fall off. You can go ahead and tie up this knot as many times as you want, as long as it is tight. You don't want this to fall off when you wash, or anytime. You know how babies can be very playful.